And you're welcome back. The election is hotting up and you will all be casting your votes on Friday week, and I'm joined in the studio by independent candidate Keith Gilligan. Good morning, Keith. How are you?
Morning, John.
Thank you very much for coming over to the studio. Now, you're known very much to people as water, water, water. That's where your focus has been.
Well, yeah, over the last while it's been, before that I'd been involved in the property tax campaign and water campaign, the Palestinian Solidarity campaign in Carlow, and different campaigns. I've been involved in politics since around 2010 actively. Beforehand I was kind of watching and listening to what was going on around the bailout and the economic problems we have. Like most people, I became kind of interested in it around that time when we saw what was after happening and the banks were after going bust. And we were I think a lot of us were asking ourselves questions and asking what was actually after happening, why did it happen. And following from that, I kind of got engaged. I went to my first protest in 2010, the end of 2010 I think, and from there I kind of got more and more involved and really wanted to see if we can actually do something in this country, because for too long we've kind of had the same political parties ruling the country. And once you start investigating things and getting involved and seeing what's going on, you kind of say to yourself, like, is this it? Is this what we have to accept? And I don't think we should accept it. I'm an activist myself. I want to get out there and do things. I've always believed that you don't judge someone by what they say, it's by what they do on their actions. And I think we should do the same when we're electing our politicians.
Now, what would you say to people who would say, and you've said it there yourself, that you are a person who goes from protest movement to protest movement, and that as such you're an outsider looking in at the political system?
Well, I don't believe that myself. I think if we had a media, like a national media and paper media, that was a little bit more critical or a little bit more open to alternative viewpoints, that there wouldn't be as much of a need for protest. You know, people feel frustrated, feel like they have no voice within this system. We call it democracy, but I wouldn't call it democracy myself. I know lots of people locally here in Carlow and Kilkenny that are being frustrated by different things. Like we've the Cast Bridge in the city here. There was lots of people out protesting there. There was nearly 8,000 signatures got, and none of them were listened to. It was a county manager.
Well, no, you could say that they were listened to, but the majority won, which is democracy.
Well, you see, the thing that we would dispute the majority, because after the last local elections, a lot of the sitting councillors that were in favour of the CAST project actually didn't have seats after the election. So
but that's democracy winning.
Is it though? Because we had the county manager left after making a decision or signing over a contract, basically, or making plans to sign a contract for a bridge, and next thing he retired. And it went in through the course of before the elections, it was passed, and it couldn't be. They found a way then to make it nearly impossible for it to be undone afterwards. And like I'm going on the words of activists here in Kilkenny. I have lots of things that do be going on at the same time, but based on the reports of activists.
And Carlow is your main base.
Well, it is and it isn't. I believe that we live in a constituency, and I'd like to see everything done as a constituency from now on. Water charges, the right to change. We are really building links between Carlow and Kilkenny, and I think we're really going forward in the constituency.
If you go back to, was it last summer, when you got a bit maybe perhaps overexcited at a water protest meeting that Enda Kenny was there and ran into a little bit, you were arrested, were you?
What actually happened there, it was during the by-election. I had decided there was a protest being held. I decided that, because I was director of elections for one of the candidates at the time, that it wouldn't be very fair, or wouldn't be nice for me to show up at a protest and shout down a candidate when they were going around canvassing. I believe in democracy. I believe that everything should be all about debate, open and honest conversations. So at the last minute I decided I'd go down and try ask the Taoiseach a question, a simple question. It was around the closing of the inquiry into the planning irregularities on Carlow County Council. I think it was a legitimate question to be asking the Taoiseach and any of the political representatives there that day, that why a government in the Fianna Fáil and Green government could put forward proposals to have a commission of investigation into an independent inquiry into Carlow County Council, how another government could come in and actually close it down. We had Phil Hogan actually close down the inquiry into planning irregularities on Carlow County Council. And we've had reports, like the Quillivan report, which has kind of asked serious questions about what went on during the planning, or the boom, around the issue of planning.
Okay, well, let's look forward then, Keith, a little bit. You decided to run as an independent. Mm-hmm. Did you ever think in terms of, was there any party that would have appealed to you at all with a long-term view that you could make a better impact that way, or why did you decide to go independent?
Well, I was in People Before Profit. I'm still good friends with and work with Adrian Wallace. I'm friends and work with Kathleen Function. Who
would you be asking for your number 2 to go to?
People's preferences. I don't think there's a whole lot separating either party, but it's completely up to people what they're swayed by.
Sorry, I interrupted you anyhow about you going independent.
Yeah, I'm an independent candidate because I from being in parties and from seeing what parties are, I believe that they're top-down organised, that even the parties that talk about democracy, it is still the way they're organised. It's kind of a leaders and kind of decisions are made at the level, and then it's thrown out to the rest. I believe that everything should be about debate and it should be localised. I believe in proper local democracy. I think our councils need to be organised so that we have proper powers at a local level, that we're not relying on budgets kind of being thrown at us and then we decide how to distribute them. I think there should be more democracy around how we organise our local councils and our local areas.
So despite being best known for water protests, you would say you're a much wider candidate?
Definitely. I'm interested in lots of things. Really, I'm going as an independent candidate because I think that there's not enough said about the local corruption. Like the Moriarty report basically spelled out how endemic and systemic the corruption was in the country. There's been absolutely nothing done about those issues. We have Fianna Fáil now rebranding themselves as something new. And we've heard that before. We've had Bertie, we've had Charles Haughey, we've had Ray Burke, we've had them all going back through the history of the country. We've had report after report and tribunal after tribunal, and nothing has been done. We had speculation that could have been stopped through the Kenny report back in 1974, I think it was, which recommended that we have property value plus agricultural value of 25%. And that would have stopped all the speculation through the years when we went mad in this country with property speculation.
Keith, that is, I think people get a very clear idea of what it is. You're Keith Gilligan, running as an independent in the upcoming election, and of course,
John,
yes.
Can I just mention actually, we've hopefully the biggest march the country has ever seen on this Saturday coming,
right.
Up in Dublin. It's a Right to Change, Right to Water march. We're marching from Parnell Square at 2:00. On 2:00 on Saturday, and what we all believe is that another Ireland is possible, and if we get out and vote for, there's 101 candidates running across the country under the banner of Right to Change, that if we elect these candidates we can have proper change in the country.
That is 2:00 Saturday, Parnell Square, and you will be there. Keith Gilligan, thank you very much for talking to us, and the best of luck, as we say to all the candidates, because it's what democracy is about, getting out there with your ideas.